Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Volcanic Peppers, it is the Autumn Blaze, a honey pumpkin chipotle hot sauce. And I don't know how you put those words together without me being interested. I don't think there's a way. All right, so these are red jalapenos as well. What are we calling this? Medium? Yeah. I don't think I'm with you on that. Buddy, don't believe so. All right. Smoked red jalapeno, apple cider vinegar, which thankfully doesn't read too much, honey, pumpkin, salt, and xanthan gum. So this is, hot sauce with chipotle being the only pepper in it, is probably kind of pushing things a little bit. I didn't know what to expect with this. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's going to be some kind of harvest sauce, with pumpkin and stuff. And I don't know what pumpkin it's going to be. I'm thinking maybe it's going to be like maybe sweet potatoes in there, something like that. But no. Very gorgeous red-orange color here. The color is great, actually. Look at this. This is one of the prettiest sauces I think I've ever seen. It's got all those little bits and flecks of nummies in there. Look at that. This is just beautiful. It flows super nice. We do have a little of the xanthan jiggle in there, you can see. I don't really care about that. I just find the jiggling kind of entertaining. And I find, stupid things funny. That's just my character. So that's what we do this. I'm not really saying it's a negative one way or the other on that. Just an observation, I think, more than anything. It's not intrusive in the way that cornstarch can be with textures. So I don't mind. To me, it's fine. Little thickener, little emulsifier, good to go. Speaking of good to go, let's get on into this. That's so good. The first thing you get is the hit of smoke. Then you get some depth from the pumpkin and from the honey in there. A little bit of sweetness. It is not a particularly sweet sauce. It's not particularly astringent either. It's just it's got a really good balance. This is honestly, this is almost a perfect sauce. This is such a delicious sauce. Like it's amazing. This is just when I opened it and got into this, my jaw almost shattered on the floor. I was like, wow, that is just fantastic. And I had to kind of pump the brakes because I wanted to make sure that I had enough to play around with it on camera. And every once in a while I come across those sauces. If I don't stomp on the brakes fairly quickly, and you can see I've gone through a little bit right around a fluid ounce or so of this, and but I can tell, I can tell if I don't get a hold of myself, I'm gonna eat up the whole damn thing. And this is another one that I might need to get more bottles of this too, because it hits so many sweet spots for me. I like Chipotle a lot. And this one it does taste like they took red jalapenos and then actually smoked them instead of buying commercially smoked. It does have that sort of depth of quality to it. It reminds me of my uncle used to burn wood in the furnace during the winter for warmth. And it reminds me of the smell of that furnace, that stove, which I've always loved. And it's kind of like the same sort, it's almost like the same sort of smoke that you might use to smoke meats or something. Just, you know, it kind of reminds me of, you know, being warm around a fire, I guess, in winter kind of a thing, a little bit. But man, this is, what a menagerie here. What a, just a collection of, like, I almost wonder if somebody challenged this guy to say, hey, I'll bet you can't make a sauce that's really good that has pumpkin in it. And he went, yeah, you might think that, but bam, here you go. Just wonderful. So, we've got this crunchy bubble crumb shrimp. Have a look. And I think this is, Indonesian style breading. Super cool product. This might be in more videos, actually. I really like this stuff. Look at this. Fries up super nice in the air fryer, but listen. Oop. You hear how crispy that is? You know what? Well, here. Oh, now. It's a bit chippish. So good. Wow. I didn't know this existed until I saw it in the frozen section at a Kroger. And what a brilliant thing. I don't care if it is grocery store frozen shrimp. It is still wonderful. And I'm so glad to have it. So glad to have it. There is spice to this breading. It is not a neutral breading, per se. I'm really kind of surprised at this. I thought this was just going to be work a trick, just be fantastic. It's not bad. It's not as good as I was picturing, though. And I think I know why. That smoke that's in there is just so gorgeous. In a lot of ways, this could be one of those hot sauces for people who don't like hot sauces or who don't know that they like hot sauces. Wow. Volcanic is not only knocking it out of the park, they're breaking the bat while they're doing so, and the chunks of the bat are following the ball out of the park. And all the trees that the ball and the broken pieces of bat are going past are staring in their tree way in jealousy. that they couldn't be the one to hit that. Just really, wow. I'll tell you what. Yeah. So I've said this before about other sauces at other times. If the sauce is good enough, it automatically becomes more flexible. Like, Pure Death from Blair's is the one that always comes to mind. I love that sauce so much that I can even put it on sauces where it won't pair. Like on Asian food, like on tacos. And it is so good that it sort of transcends a lot of the pairing stuff. I didn't realize how Asian-y this crust was. Very obviously we have something here that'll do the same thing. And this would be fine. Better than fine. I don't know where you wouldn't use this, actually. This, in fact, is maybe what I would think of as an everyday sauce. I don't know if that's by design. But yeah. That seems to go well on everything. Right on the money. Right on the money with a copy here. Right on the money. And that's probably why it's not sweeter. It is one of those few sauces that I will say is borderline flawless. As is. Other than I could use a little bit more heat. Like, what if you smoked Fresnos instead of red jalapenos? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe a special edition with some fire roasted red habaneros. That way you keep the flavor intact. Maybe throw a little bit more honey in there if it's leaning too bitter. And there's your heat. But to be honest, we don't need everything blazing. There is room for milder sauces. And I'm not saying to do that with this. I'm saying, in fact, to leave it as is. Because I don't know that you're really going to be able to improve it that much. I mean, look, for me, let's be honest. If you throw fire roasted red habaneros in there, I'm probably not gonna just like it. That is definitely a for me thing. But I don't think that they're making the sauce for me, per se. Volcanic is a really fascinating company to me. I think they're making some brilliant sauces there in old Bellevue, Nebraska, and this is absolutely another one of them. Magnifique. Yeah, flavor is outstanding. In fact, I would, unless it's somebody who's really sensitive to heat, I would say pretty much anybody can get this sauce. If you are sensitive to heat, obviously, then, you know, like my mother is, she doesn't like, you know, too much black pepper and she's gasping. But as long as you don't have that going on, this is a sauce I think that almost anybody could try and enjoy. And you don't have to use as much as I just, you know, I burned through at least another fluid ounce, if not more, during the course of this video. You don't have to use that much. It tastes good enough that you might want to. That's the mark of a good sauce. It tastes good enough that you may want to do that. You just might. But you don't have to. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. I'm just saying. Yeah, just an outstanding concoction. What can I say? I mean, it a little light on the heat side, but you know, if you're more of a foodie than a chili head, you know, I'm foodie first, chili head second. If you like that, then this will be 100% right up your alley, and I'd encourage anyone unreservedly to get their hands on some. No question. And we'll leave it right there. So that was the Volcanic Peppers Autumn Blaze Hot Sauce. Number 4. In peace, to serve the flame.